Welcome everyone to AVATA's Cloud Webinar Series. My name is Deb Bryant. I'm the Marketing Coordinator at AVATA, and I will be facilitating the webinar. Today we're presenting the 6th webinar in our Cloud Series, where we will take a look at maximizing manufacturing ROI with Oracle Cloud. Presenting for you today are Jim Hetherington, VP of Sales for AVATA, Mark Hagedorn, Director of Operations at ESS Incorporated, and Clint Boudreau, Cloud Practice Lead and Solution Architect at AVATA. Should you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to submit them by clicking on the blue icon in the corner. Someone from our team will respond directly to you within 24 hours. Here's just a quick look at our agenda. And now I would like to introduce Jim Hetherington, who will offer a brief introduction to AVATA. Jim?
Thanks, Deb. I appreciate it. And look, I will be very brief. I just have a couple slides here where I want people to understand, high level who we are and what we do. In brief, AVATA has been an Oracle partner for almost 20 years. And if I started across the three real pillars of our services and maybe started at the bottom of it, it would be supply chain management. I would list that first only because everything we do is associated with people who are making something or moving a product. So it's manufacturers and distributors across all of our services, be it supply chain management processes or applications, the JD Edwards solution set, or Oracle Cloud. And at the level of the services related to Oracle Cloud, I do want to be clear, and I think today's webinar is a good example of this with Mark and the work we've done at ESS. It really covers the full platform, from transaction to decision support, be it in the enterprise performance management space or the supply chain management space. Real quick, we have been a code development partner with Oracle, and I think that's important. It's important for two reasons. I think from a perspective of having access to Oracle development, direct access to Oracle development as an advocate for our clients in any given effort, I think that's important. But I also think that it's important to point out that the speed of innovation and development in cloud, and this is just across the board, I think, in the industry, but certainly in our experience in the Oracle environment, innovation from a product perspective in comparison to the on-premise world is just, it's light years more quicker from a frequency perspective and from a perspective of getting client input. So we're in a much better position as a partner to take the feedback from our clients and push that into the funnel of Oracle development. And cloud makes that possible in a way today that it has never been done. You've been able to have a client advisory group, and it's a smaller group, and it's 12 to 24-month events. This is a continual communication between Oracle clients and Oracle, and the turnaround for innovation is just something like we've not seen in the industry, to be quite honest about it. And finally, I mentioned manufacturers and distributors. I get asked sometimes in terms of industries. We really cover the gamut, from industrial manufacture and consumer goods into high tech, a lot of work in oil and gas. We're known across the board from our work in the wine industry and in construction and retail. And with that, any questions, obviously, willing to answer them, but I think I'll turn it over from a content perspective to Mark.
Okay. So as mentioned, my name is Mark Hagedorn. I'm the Director of Operations for ESS Inc. And if you haven't heard of us, our big deal is clean energy storage in the form of flow batteries, or just really, really large batteries. And we've been working with Oracle Cloud for about a year or so now, and they help us significantly organize our manufacturing is we have in our 100,000 square foot facility, we have two modes of manufacturing essentially. We have the battery module manufacturing, which you can see under the technology header, and we have the balance plant or the systems that we put that in. These batteries are in the 50 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt range for power, and then duration in the 400 kilowatt hour range. The where we started back in 2011 was you know, as in many startups, you know, as a small walk up business park, and through beginning to ship actual commercial systems, and with help of our investors, we've been able to grow you know, our base battery module and system to the point where we have global deployments from you know, the NAFTA market, Germany, and Brazil. Our current headquarters facilities in Wilsonville, Oregon, we're capable of producing up to a gigawatt hour per year out of this facility, with the intent that after getting to that level, it's likely that we'll begin producing at least a balance of plant or systems supporting locally and other manufacturing. So we'll have multi-site manufacturing. The applications for our technology, besides having it being a giant battery, as it were, are either to back up solar or wind installation and basically replace the gas or coal power plant for traditional power generation. We also support off-grids or microgrids. So you think about equatorial island nations that aren't really connected to any other landmass. They have to have their own power generation. Traditionally, that's been diesel gen sets, whereas now that doesn't make sense for lots of reasons for those types of communities and nations. So they're rebuilding their grid around a renewable and a storage solution. So talking about the couple modes of manufacturing we have, what we're looking at is the battery module proper here, and it's a bunch of injection molded parts and that are glued together with some other things shuffled in between them. While there's really only about 20 unique parts in the battery module, it's highly repetitive, and the manufacture of these things is a series of automated assembly line that runs out of again out of the warehouse in our factory. Now, the systems that we've talked about basically all go into a 40-foot shipping container. And so for our Series 100 systems, that's a 40-foot shipping container with 45 of the battery modules that were previously shown inside. In half the container, the other half is basically a large separated electrolyte tank. And so the manufacturing used to create the system is more of a build in place capital equipment style things, where you have some fairly highly complex kits that are issued. We have something along the lines of 3,000 or 4,000 unique parts that go into that part of the system, and there's a huge amount of labor content. One of the challenges that Oracle and AVATA have helped us solve, and after us doing a significant amount of shopping for the perfect ERP system, was that we serve both of these modes of manufacturing out of the same warehouse, and that's something that's really, really unique to the Oracle solution. Because you know, traditional ERP systems, you know, even 10 years ago, are going to make it, you know, while it may be physically one warehouse, you'll essentially have two warehouse locations in the warehouse to serve the different modes of manufacturing. And so that was really, really quite valuable to us. The other part of that is that while the cycle time on the battery modules is fairly short, the cycle time for systems assembly is fairly long, and Oracle gives us the tools to balance out that production to basically the bottleneck, as opposed to just trying to balance out the whole manufacturing process across the whole factory. That another benefit of this, as I kind of touched on earlier, is our plan once we reach capacity, or possibly before that, of our headquarters factory, is to be able to produce portions of the system locally, closer to the customer, whether it be in Germany or Brazil or Australia, and working with a contract manufacturer on the systems or container side of things to get that done. The cloud suite allows us to, one, be more interactive with our contract manufacturing partner, but it also allows us to, under the same umbrella of cloud ERP installation, they add those additional sites without having, back in the Oracle on-premise days, to raise up a whole other server, basically have a whole other instance of ERP running at a different site, and then having to try and resolve that all back to headquarters in some form that basically would turn into a multi-person job. In this particular case, we plan on running about the same amount of headcount we have to run the factory on the financial side of things, as with our expansion. So talking about that, we talk about how we actually do it. I say series automated production. The methodology and the goal behind that is to have one piece flow fed from Kanbans all the way through the system. Again, with the systems integration or the system build, that's more of a 170 kit process where they're assigned to unique individuals, they're assembled, they either go straight into the system or back to the warehouse as a sub-assembly, and then are choreographed into the containers. Again, AVATA was able to work with us in understanding this at a very deep level, and then translate that into the Oracle Cloud practice in a way that, one, worked with the Oracle Cloud practice, but also helped Oracle develop some of their manufacturing suite of tools to suit both of these methods. So that being said, we can pass this over to Clint, and he can talk a little bit about how we got to where we are.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate all the work you guys have done over at ESS to make the implementation successful. I think you spoke to a lot of what most of our customers are seeing as far as the upside to cloud. I'm going to talk here briefly about generally what the manufacturing industry has been looking towards from cloud, how they've leveraged different aspects of the cloud, and where AVATA can hopefully take some of you if you decide to move into the cloud arena. So for cloud in general, regardless of what functionality you're leveraging, it offers a widespread benefit across the entire platform. To have a single integrated instance between your cloud manufacturing and your cloud financials is clearly resulting for our clients in a lower cost of ownership. The UI lends itself nicely to very easy training and new hire onboarding, and the analytics that are built into the application are available across all modules and are scalable to every employee's role. The cloud applications are always current. Your upgrade paths are pre-built into the application. You no longer have a worry about falling out of support or having large-scale upgrade efforts, every 3 to 5 years, as you did with your on-prem solution. So talking some of these points in the manufacturing module specifically, the dashboard UI really lends itself again to ease of use and ease of trainability for what the application is expecting from the end user community. Finance users, for example, can get real-time visibility into cost, including their work in progress and their purchase price variances, allowing for good collaboration across your operations, manufacturing, finance, and procurement department. Guided exception handling, where the application flags problem areas for you, and allowing end users to drill down into those details directly from the dashboard and interact directly with the transactional system with the click of a mouse. When we start talking about setting up some of the requirements around inventory and manufacturing, guided setups, again, can be easily used by end users to quickly stand up functionality that may not be part of the normal day-to-day business, but on quarterly, yearly basis need to be modified and changed. For example, cycle counting is a very strong aspect of the inventory system, where you can allow the system to synchronize your ABC codes against how you're utilizing your inventory, where your inventory value is. But then once those counts are created, you can easily move items between counts, adjust schedules, and then deploy those cycle counts out to your end user dashboard so that the counting can then start taking place. Again, everything available to you at a click of a mouse, everything guided in terms of what setups need to be done, so that it makes it very easy for these types of setup to occur with minimal amount of end user training. When we start talking about the screens in general, your work list is provided to you through that UI, but once you get into the transactional system, very easy to see what actions need to occur next. You have click-through visibility across your operation. If you needed to see the status of a work order and then drill into its details, you're a mouse click away. The navigation through the UI is pre-built to flag areas of concern, whether it's material or labor or other resources that have not been allocated to a work order, for example, completion dates that are running past due. All those things are flagged by the system and make it very easy for end users to determine what course of action they need to take next. Being in the cloud means you've increased the collaboration of your systems with all end users across the platform. So for example, for a particular work order, all of the transactions that have occurred by user are flagged and collated and collected by the system. If at any point in time a user needs to reach out to somebody in another department, in another building, or even in another country, they can post messages to one another through the Oracle social network that's built across the application. It's used in all modules of the system, so that it sort of removes the pick up the phone, send an email, that history challenge that a lot of companies have with collaborating in a fast-moving manufacturing environment, and gives a central repository for all the communication that occurs for a particular area of the business. So I'm presuming at this point that there are a lot of folks on the phone that have various levels of system expertise or different footprints currently. Cloud applications lend themselves nicely to being able to be leveraged regardless of what your current ERP outlook looks like at this point. For companies like ESS, who really went sort of from a pre-revenue stage quickly into a full-blown production, the sort of complete transformation aspect would fit in nicely for them. They didn't have a lot of ancillary systems that they needed to take into consideration and try to interface. So they just picked up their entire operation writ large and implemented it in the cloud environment, cloud space. Other companies that already have an existing footprint, maybe on JD Edwards or Suite or another ERP application, can choose to go to the cloud in a number of different ways. Some choose to go by division. I know several companies that made recent acquisitions, and rather than absorb those acquisitions into their on-prem, decided to move to the cloud environment and do an end-to-end ERP supply chain management solution for those operations until such time as the rest of the company could move to the cloud. Other companies decide to innovate at the edge, and this can be take a number of different paths forward. But really what we're talking about here is maximizing your system's capability based on your current footprint and looking for opportunities to bolt on cloud edge applications that could benefit the company. So the cloud space is complete across the board. You may decide that your company could use additional trade or procurement functionality, PLM for your product lifecycle management, HR, your customer systems, costing, and even your financial reporting can be deployed in the cloud and still take advantage of your current on-prem application solution through integration. So some final thoughts in terms of cloud in general, and to manufacturing operations specifically. There is a manufacturing solution for you in the cloud, regardless of what your current footprint is, whether it's leveraging advanced analytics around costing, better BI tools, a more central location for accommodating your inventory processes that support your manufacturing system. There is a path forward for any manufacturing footprint in the cloud. And again, the cloud offering is that it really is probably the last software you're ever going to buy. It's designed to grow with your organization. Applications are available to be used as your company grows to need them. And then even at the scalability of the infrastructure, as you add users, as you add locations, as you add transactional volumes, that infrastructure is designed to grow with you. One of the areas that AVATA spends quite a bit of time on is working with our client base and with organizations on determining what is a path forward to the cloud. So for a lot of companies, having somebody come on site and do a review of your current footprint, talk to some of your functional leads and your business owners to determine what some of the challenges are in your organization, and work to optimize a path forward so you can begin leveraging all that cloud has to offer, both now and into the future.
Thank you, Clint, and thank you to all of our panelists for joining us today. If you would like to revisit this webinar or share it with a colleague, you can find a link to this and other webinars on our resources page on our website at www.avata.com. We also invite you to share your thoughts with us and participate in our Name That Webinar survey. You can select from a list of webinars that you might be interested in, as well as a chance to give us your suggested webinar topics. Please look for a link to this survey in the follow-up email that you will receive shortly. As always, we invite you to contact us via email, visit our website, or follow us on social media. For those of you that submitted questions, we will be reaching out to you soon. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.